I've seen so many people in business, like, they think they can get away with that shit long term. Always comes back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, I would say though, how many times do you need to make 40 mil? You know,
Yeah.
Well,
like those dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean short term, yeah,
yeah,
but they
yeah.
can disappear off into the sunset too. These guys.
that is possible. Yeah.
Especially on like the NFTs or whatever you're talking about, rug pull.
Yeah.
I don't even understand truly how rug pull works. I'm assuming you sell and don't tell anybody. Is that
It's basically so there's two
you
types
hype
of,
it up and then sell it?
yeah, there's two ways.
basically.
There's the NFT side where basically you hype up your NFT launch, you launch your NFT, everyone buys your NFT, and then you just
Yep.
walk away and you don't you just let the community kind of talk to them, and then it just fizzles out. And you walked away with all the money.
Right.
A rug pull for a coin is you launch a token, you get the price really high up, everyone's buying it like crazy. You as the founder start dumping your wallets because you have so many coins, you just keep extracting money out of it. And there's two types of those even. There's a guy who ends up having it and he just keeps selling into it at a slow pace and just keeps extracting money for as long as he possibly can. Where another guy he sells all his coins and just lets it go to zero right away. So there's like the slow burn method, and then there's the quick money and stuff, and there's a lot of people getting mad at that. And that problem is like the second one, it's okay for a founder to sell some coins to make some money. Of course, that's fine.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
But there's people that kind of equate that with like rug pullers and stuff like that. But
Right.
But there's
Well,
this whole,
are they still working down the line to
And that's
continue
the
the
key.
project they originally built? Are they going
Right.
towards their vision? Kind of goes back to your other question originally, which is like, who do you know that you can trust, right? And it's like, you don't know, but you have to, make these educated guesses based on this information.
For the guy that pulls it out slow, as long as he's continuing, let's just call it the GDP growth
Yeah,
of
of
the business,
course.
then he can pull it out as kind of profit.
yeah, of course, yeah, and there's nothing wrong
Well,
with
that's
that.
taking care of the community, right?
Right.
Like you're essentially, there takes work to do that.
Look,
Right,
Right.
in order to get because you're spreading the wealth, right? Everybody's
Exactly.
benefiting.
Everybody's going up.
Right.
It's when he stops working on it and then slowly pulls the money
Correct.
away, and they don't know that there's a cliff at the end of it.
That's where
called,
projects
I'm
die.
not working anymore.
Correct.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of projects that would have survived if the founder just kept working. And this is the problem. Like one of the biggest things that, so right before we had this whole thing with like, right before, I would say, okay, so you know how podcasts got very big with like Joe Rogan and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So right before that, there was the bloggers, guys who just did these giant
Yeah,
blogs and
yeah,
stuff
yeah, I
on
remember.
these
like Tim Ferriss and shit.
That's exactly
I love
what I was
Tim
bringing.
Ferriss.
I
Yeah,
love
he's
Tim
good,
Ferriss, dude.
yeah.
But he did this one book, 4-Hour Work Week, got him
Yep.
really massive, and this brought in this gigantic this horrible mindset that like
Oh yeah, it was bad.
yeah, and even he says like, yeah, I fucked up on that shit, man.
Yeah, well, and the thing
Well, like-
too is you got to
yeah.
think about him is like this is a very intelligent man, Tim
Right.
Ferriss, like hyper intelligent.
Oh yeah,
The normal dude, that's just gonna make him lazy, bro.
yeah.
Like, and he's also very efficient and he's very calm. He's probably very focused. Like Tim Ferriss is the perfect guy. He probably does pull that off. But
Yeah.
still.
Well, and here's the thing with any of those types of things, right? Like sales methods or basically ways to build a business or whatever, right? They work for some people, they don't work for everybody. And everybody kind of finds where their gray areas, where their line is, right? Because
Right.
like there's never a clear cut, area where it's like, okay, this is the best method to do this and that type of thing. But I think the people who try, right, like go and see, okay, I read this book by Tim Ferriss and I listen to the other stuff. Maybe,
Right.
nobody's 100% correct on anything, right? And then you go and talk to, Grant Cardone, you go and talk to, whoever, right, out there, and you just collect all this information. But that's what people are bad at, is sifting and finding the golden nuggets. Right, and really taking the good pieces. But yeah,
The two biggest jokes I've ever heard. I mean, I believe some of these when I was younger and stuff, and like now, I'm 31 right now, and like their total lies is the first one is passive income.
That's an absolute lie.
It's absolute lie. Like
Even in real estate,
yeah, it's work.
especially in real estate.
I mean, you have to. I mean, I say real estate's probably the closest you're going to get to a real passive income, but you have to put a lot of work, a lot of systems, and it's a ton of money investing into it. I mean, by the time you actually just chill back and sit back, like even guys sitting back on a huge real estate portfolio, there's still a lot of maintenance with it.
There's
And,
a
like,
lot, man.
there's a
So
lot.
you have loans coming to maturity that you better be fucking paying attention to.
Or a 1031 exchange, and you got a
Right.
deadline on that.
Yeah, exactly. If you decide to do a 1031.
Exactly.
But there's property management, there's tenant screening, there's all these things that are going on. There's expenses, there's inflation, there's making sure the rents stay up with inflation. There's all these different things. You're managing a portfolio at that point. It's definitely not passive. Now, I will say this. I think that two things happen to the guys that stop working on their project, and it could happen at any point. Number one, they get comfortable. They start to make a bunch of money. They get comfortable. But then number two, they run into the incompetency of the fact that they knew how to start a coin, but they didn't know how to scale a business.
Right.
Ooh, wow.
And so they don't know what to do.
Correct.
Right.
So that is when you can have probably a person with good intention hurt a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Because he got the plane off the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know how to take it to 30.
Exactly. It's like
You know
that,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
But I give that guy slack because he's the whole thing is I think communities or people in crypto can forgive people for like not like it's the whole thing is intent, right? Is this guy trying to like is he's like fuck man, I'm sorry man, like I tried I did everything I could fucking possibly do and I knew at the time and I fucked it up.
Yeah.
But
right. And it has to be like something of quality and value though that
Right.
brings something to the market, because I mean you see meme coins popping up left, right, and center, and it's like,
come on.
I mean, like
That's another thing
People just
right
grabbing
there
money.
is picking the right business.
Yes.
You could take two entrepreneurs, put them in two different business models. One of them's going to look like Steve Jobs, and one of them's going to look like a dickhead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same guy,
Yeah.
same ambition, same entrepreneurial skill set, and you could put him in business A, and he might go to the moon. You put him in business B, he'll be bankrupt.
Yeah.
You know, picking. I even say this about myself. Like, one big critique I have on my career is that maybe I could have chose a different business model than erecting steel.
Right.
Like, there's better models, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I always say that with the caveat of the argument of like, you have to water a plant long enough for it to bear fruit.
Right.
And I did that. Now, I will say I did that correctly, because a lot of people, they change the game too much and then they take the punches from the new game. So it'd be like fighting a guy that's right-handed. You take a bunch of jabs, you finally slip the jab, and you take the cross, maybe take the cross twice, but eventually you slip, duck, you get your licks in. But if you take his jab 3 times and then you're like, fuck this, and you go fight somebody that's left-handed,
Yep.
you fight a southpaw, and now you're going to take the punches from that industry as well.
Yeah.
And get your ass beat, and you're going to lose all the contacts. You're going to lose all the industry secrets. You're going to lose all the mentors. You are starting over.
Yep.
At some point, you roll on top in business. And that's when you have an ethical but unfair advantage. I have a very ethical but very unfair advantage in my business. My men are fucking loyal. I have an army of men, and they know what they're doing. And in a world where labor is hard to come by,
Right. That's power.
it is power.
Yeah.
Right?